Hello everyone, this is Damien. Welcome to lesson numero 17. Today we are going to be talking about everyone's literal favorite thing in C++, called string stream. And you can include string stream in your projects by coming up top and typing in the hash there and include stream. So string stream is, so I just want to preface by saying if you type this and get an error, your stuff is too old. Seriously, you need a new IDE at that point. You need it. You can't be doing these videos with an IDE that old. Because from here on out, you know, there will be at least some kind of an expectation that you're able to use string stream in C++11. So I apologize. That said, if that did not error, hey, you're good, you can use string stream. It came out in like 2000, or like, I think it was 1999 or 2001 or something, so it's not like it's new. So I only said that because I had this crazy teacher in college that he would make us compile everything on Visual Studio 6, which was released in 1998. And this was recent. This was in like 2009 or 2010. So these people are still out there. So that being said, let's move along and stop talking about how scarred I am from that guy. He was a dick. Let's make a string. And we're going to call this string str and set it equal to an empty string like we always do. And we're also going to make an int called value. And we're going to set that equal to 0. Now, one of the things that we always run into in C++ is we can tell people cout, enter a value for, let's just say enter a value, and then do cin value, and cout value, right? We can always do stuff like that, but we can never prevent somebody from going and entering that, and then our value doesn't work right, because I mean, you cin for it, but there's no numbers there, there's no nothing. So what we can do, and I mean in this case value stayed equal to 0 because the cin failed. But what we can do instead is we can, you know, take in for a string, right? We can do getLine cin string. And then we can cin for and cout string, right? But this approach is also lacking, you know, because we can do that and, you know, we output it properly. But what happens if we need for that to be a number? Like, what happens if we need to somehow get this value from string to value? And the answer is, you know, without string stream, there are ways of doing it. There are. And all of them suck. And the reason I say that is because we can go through string and we can treat it like it's an array. We can do a for int I equals 0, I is less than str dot size, I plus plus, like that. And then we can do like I, or we can do what is it? Like, let's say value equals str of I. And this is a really bad example because it will overwrite for every single value. But I mean, that's still not necessarily going to work because you can do like that and there's still, you know, this is just going to fail if it's not an integer. So it doesn't actually solve anything. It gets the numbers from one place to another, but it doesn't fix the underlying issue of type checking. And so that's what we're going to talk about here, is we're going to talk about how we can use string stream to type check. So in this case, we take this string, right? And we want the user to enter a value. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to do a do while loop. So we're going to do do, and let's do while value equals 0. And let's say enter a non-zero number. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to do like this. We're going to create a string stream object, and we're going to name it SS. And we're going to set it equal to whatever was input in string, right? And when we do that, the next step is to see if we can take the value and push it into our value variable. Sorry about using the word value twice like that. But basically, we're extracting string, and now we're going to see if we can pipe it into value. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up a simple if statement, ss, two little operators there, and those are going to be pushing the value into our variable named value. And that's actually all we need to do here. Actually, we don't even really need an if statement. So if we wanted to, and we wanted to validate it a bit more, we could do a break. But if that works, it should break anyways. So we can actually just do like that. SS goes into value. Perfect. And then if the contents of value change, then we're out of the loop. If it doesn't change, well, that's kind of problematic, isn't it? So enter a non-zero number. Let's do -1. Perfect. Exits the loop. But if we enter 0, we enter that, none of these things are going to work. None of these things are going to break our program. Meanwhile, if we then type 1, it works fine. So that's one of those nice things where we can really implement compliance with what we want our user to do. So typically, this is how I force a user to do what I want them to do. And it's not 100% bulletproof. There are ways to break this that I'm not going to go into because they're not important and most users aren't going to get into them. But this is going to handle about 99.99% of your cases for user input is something like this. And you know, there are other ways that you can implement this. You know, you can do while true. This is another really common one I've seen. Cout, enter a value like this. And we'll do, let's set ourselves a bool up here and say not true. Actually, let's just call it continue. Equals, actually I don't think continue is a word we can use, I think that's a keyword. So we'll call it cont equals true, right? Enter a value, and once again we're going to use our getLine cin string, and we're going to do if, oops, I forgot to, I'm just hitting all kinds of buttons here, string stream ss str. So it grabs our string, or you know, pushes the string or the value of string into our string stream, and then we just go if ss goes into what am I trying to push it into? Value. Then we're going to do like this. We're going to just hit while cont right there, and we're going to do cont equals false. And that's how we can break it in a sentinel loop type of way rather than a do while. So again, if I put in junk here, it doesn't work. If I put in a correct value, it does work. So that's how we can do it with bools, if statements, and you know, if we do it this way, you know, we can also put in or value is less than 5. You know, something let's do greater than 5. Because this should evaluate first. So if we do something like that, that's not going to work. If we do 6, that does work. So we can use this to, this will make sure that it goes in first, right? This should actually be and, because we want this to be valid, and we want the value to be greater than 5. So again, if we do 6, works. So I just kind of wanted to show you guys how we can use this to validate input, how we can force users into inputting stuff within certain ranges. We can force them to enter data of certain types. So this is very valuable. And I won't be using this a great deal going forward in my videos. And the only reason why I won't be using it going forward is because it takes time. Now, I want you guys to use this a great deal in your personal programming, but you're not trying to program something in 15 minutes the way I am. So I definitely want you guys to, take into account that I'm on a time budget, whereas you guys might not be. So validating user input means that your program can't break. That's pretty important. Take the 2 minutes and do it. All right. It's gonna settle it for this lesson. My name is Damian, and this has been episode number 17. I hope you guys will join me again next time. Have a great one. Like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends, family, loved ones that they should be learning C++ also, because there's a lot of money in it. See you around!